and wonderfully, and it makes a change from last year, the sun is shining. Now, we're going to be with you at this time every night, bringing you a flavour of what's been taking place and what's still going on. Because of the time we are with you, it means there will be tennis taking place. You'll hear roars in the background. You might hear oohs in the background, and we're going to bring you that action as it happens. And we'd love you to get in touch with us. Use the hashtag #LiveAtRG if there's anything you'd like to say, a comment about your favourite player. It is the way to get in touch with us across social media. We're happy to have you with us. We hope you're happy to have us with you. And this evening, to kick things off in our very first show, I've got alongside me the people who make up the Live at RG team, Nick McCarville and Eli Weinstein. Gentlemen, firstly, a question on the weather. It's part of the reason we're smiling, because last year it was so wet.
I mean, we didn't see this much sun the entire Roland-Garros last year, Gigi, so very happy. I'm a happy American right now to see the sun on day one of Roland-Garros.
I'm a happy Frenchman.
Good.
We saw a little bit of sun when Novak Djokovic lifted that trophy.
So I'm just going to confirm that we're happy.
Oh,
okay,
definitely.
we're starting in a happy place. Okay, that's a good place to start. Now, Nick, part of the thing you're going to be focusing on over the course of the tournament is social media. It is such an important part of our life these days, and you're across it.
Well, it's where we're living for the fans these 2 weeks, right here on Live at Roland-Garros. And obviously, you guys know out there in the social media world that we've got plenty of coverage here at Roland-Garros, but they really do it in a top-notch manner. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Gigi's favorite, Snapchat. It's all there. You can see yesterday at Kids Day, great social coverage of Novak Djokovic. He's known as the Joker Nole on a lot of his social channels, and we're bringing you that coverage throughout. Again, use that hashtag #LiveAtRG. We want to hear from everyone out there.
Yeah, I don't know what Snapchat is. I will never know what Snapchat is. I'm too old for that. But you're going to keep across absolutely
I'm on it.
everything.
I gotcha.
We mentioned today was day one. It was sort of day half because it's not really a full schedule. So I think the best thing for us to do is start with the matches that have taken place and some of the results that have come through. So important for you guys at home to see what's going on. Let's start with the men's draw because there were a handful of matches. There were a handful of seeds in action. So I don't know if there was anything for you guys that stood out in terms of results coming through, but like so Grigor Dimitrov, he was in action. It was very straightforward for Grigor Dimitrov in terms of his result and coming through. Not a huge amount. We're just seeing here a selection of the results that we put together. And Dominic Thiem, a very comfortable day's work for Thiem.
Comfortable is an understatement. Dominic Thiem totally outplayed Bernard Tomic, destroyed him. He is the player who's expected in this tournament, way over Bernard Tomic's level. No competition, one-sided all the way.
And just to let you know, for a full roundup, go to rolandgarros.com. You'll get all the results from today. Looking at the women's now. Now, we left the women's second because there's a couple of stories, a couple of things that stand out. Firstly, thing that jumps out is the world #1, Angelique Kerber, is no more.
Yeah, I tweeted earlier today, this wasn't an upset. It was the shocker that wasn't a shocker whatsoever. Angelique Kerber shocked out of the tournament by Ekaterina Makarova, the world #1, gone. She just didn't have a good clay season, and she's out in round one.
The other result that stood out for a very different reason is Petra Kvitova. She had a press conference on Friday. She announced she was coming back after 6 months out. It was very emotional. She was the first match on Philippe Chatrier, the main court here. She was taken on as the first time she had met Julia Bosserup, the American. It was, Nick, there were just so many nice things about this, but the main thing is, the fact is, and we're going to hear from her, she was very emotional when she spoke to Marion Bartley afterwards, but this was her first win in 2017.
Pleasure to be here. I'm really glad that we made this decision that I'm gonna play here actually. Thank you very much, guys. I really love you. Thank you for everything. You helped me through this difficult time, and I will always be appreciative. Thank you.
On your family's T-shirt, it says courage and believe, and I think something in Czech, right? So I say pojď. I think it's common, right? You must have needed so much of that courage and belief during those months.
Yeah, we were thinking about something special for this tournament, and that's what showed up. I think the courage and belief was everything what I need to have it for this to come back here and play again. And of course, it's my word, so that's why we do have it with the heart, because with the heart, it's everything possible.
Nick, Petra said she won her fight by just being here, but 6 months ago, some people didn't believe she would ever play tennis again.
Yeah, I actually had a couple of doctors who emailed me after that knife attack, and they said basically that she would never play tennis again. And initially, she was talking about taking a whole year to come back. So for her to be here in May, to be playing Grand Slam tennis and to win that match, she had 31 winners today, 9 aces. Petra Kvitova is back.
The other story that we were talking about before Petra announced that she was coming in to hold a press conference involves the world number 2 and defending champion Novak Djokovic, who confirmed that Andre Agassi was going to be his coach at least part of the French Open. Before we talk about that and see Andre Agassi as a coach on the clay in Paris, have a listen to what Novak had to say at his pre-tournament press conference.
Someone that inspires me a lot, and that's one of the things that I felt like I needed is a new inspiration, is someone that knows exactly what I'm going through. You know, on the court, off the court, he has been through all these transitions. He has been in my shoes before, playing Grand Slams, you know, being the best in the world and facing all the challenges that are present in the tennis, in the professional sport. So we can relate to each other in many different ways from many different sides. And that's why, you know, I'm very excited for him being here, because it's a great opportunity for me to learn. It's a great opportunity for me to grow together with him, and to experience, you know, whatever is ahead of us.
See shots of them practicing together at Roland-Garros. How surprised or not were you that this combination had come together?
Well, when the news officially came out, not that surprised, because there were rumors already since the beginning of clay season. But hey, you know, Novak Djokovic hit the reset button, got rid of his whole staff, and took on Andre Agassi for inspiration. He says it over and over again. He inspires me. Inspiration. I want to be inspired. I need inspiration. That's what he went for Agassi for, not for any technical help. Clearly. And also, the little thing is, when you know the Becker-Agassi rivalry, for those of you who've read Open or maybe will read it, the Agassi biography, amazing rivalry over there. He goes from Becker to Agassi. It's huge. That's just
And I
unbelievable.
believe it was Mrs. Agassi,
Yes,
Steffi Graf,
right.
who convinced her husband to take this position.
Well, she's a familiar name, obviously, here at Roland-Garros, but it was Stephanie Graf she now goes by. She actually was the one that really convinced Andre to take on that coaching role for Novak. And what a sight to see Andre Agassi. He's been a consultant in the past, but to see him out with a coaching role for a Grand Slam champion.
But we believe he will only be here for the first
That's
week.
the rumor.
Something else we wanted to touch on day 1 of the French Open was the qualifiers, because some of these guys have been here all week on the clay to try to get into the main draw. And there was one match in particular for you, Eli, in the men's qualification that stood out.
Oh, yeah, Paul-Henri Mathieu, without a doubt. Thank you. Been waiting for that one. Paul-Henri Mathieu, local hero, has had many moments here, including one huge one against Nadal, even though it was a defeat. Biggest match ever that Nadal had to play here. And when he wins the 3rd qualifying match, he's happy as if he won a tournament, qualifying into the main draw. I mean, look at that. With his son, it's amazing. And this is possibly his last Roland-Garros. He's going to go onto a big court. He's going to get the fans. He's going to get the ovations. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And Nick, how often do we see a former finalist coming through qualification into the main draw?
Yeah, very rarely, but that's what we saw with Sara Errani. She was the top seed in qualifying, a finalist here in 2012. GG lost to Maria Sharapova. That was kind of her breakout. We see this moment 5 years ago. Sara Errani still playing. She turned 30 earlier this year. She lost just 7 games in 3 matches. And Sara Errani is actually a danger for Kristina Mladenovic in the 2nd round. Should they both win those matches, she'd be lurking, obviously, a former finalist.
Now, we touched on at the very top the defeat of world number 1 Angelique Kerber. It was a shock, but it wasn't a shock because Kerber's form hadn't been great. And Ekaterina Makarova is a very dangerous player who's been to the latter stages of Grand Slams before. But we have picked it as our match of the day because it's not every Grand Slam you turn up at that on the first day, not even a full day, you lose the world number 1.
jeu, mademoiselle Makarova.
And that was the end of Angelique Kerber's tournament. Now, more on Kerber in a second, but people might be thinking there's been a slight change on the set of
You
Live.
think?
Well, maybe.
Surprise.
I'm Eli.
If they
Eli, you look
haven't,
different.
I don't know. We'd like to welcome Camille Pin. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the team.
Thank you, guys. I'm really happy to be there and to discuss about tennis, my passion, your passion, and I'm happy to be there.
How does it feel for you, as a former player, to walk through the gates at your home Grand Slam?
That's a great feeling, I can tell you, because being on hotels is great. And it's great to travel, but being at home, it's such a feeling for every French player here to go back with family and normal life. Like you feel something great here, and then you go back to normal life, and this is really, really nice to live here.
Is normal life this hot? Because this is hot. Is this hot? Is this just
Remember
me?
last year?
Okay, that was
Yeah,
cold.
yeah.
Making up for it.
This is normal.
making up for
Last year
it.
was normal, but this, but it's great. I think tennis, it's heat. Like the tour is just following the heat, and I think it's not when you see Dubai, Australian Open, and I think it's really nice in Paris to have this weather, and I hope it's gonna stay like this. Yeah.
Have you ever seen a women's draw in a Grand Slam that is as open as it feels it is here?
It's been a long time I haven't seen that. Really, I don't know, Nick, what you're thinking, but it's more open than ever. Serena is pregnant. Like it's Azarenka just got a baby. Like it's amazing. And then you see Kerber, number one in the world, losing. It's incredible. And Muguruza, the winner from last year, she didn't play that good, all the season. So it's completely open. And Makarova just showed the way to the others, beating Kerber first round, because Makarova, it was a tough draw for Angelique Kerber. She came here without any confidence, and in the end, it's difficult for the top players because the other ones are just pushing.
Yeah, Camille, I really think that this is the chance for the Halep, the Wozniacki, the Radwanska, any of those girls we've been talking about now for years that have not won a Grand Slam. Here it is. Take the chance, take it by the throat, and we're going to see over the next 14 days if one of them can.
But I feel like when we mention a name, Halep, in brackets we put ankle. Muguruza, in brackets we put confidence. And we would have put the same for Angelique Kerber. So every name we put, Svitolina, maybe a little bit young, only been to one quarterfinal in a Grand Slam before. And it feels after every name we're saying, but maybe not because of this reason.
Yeah, and one player is going to win, and it's going to be somebody different, for sure, because somebody you don't expect.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of young players are pushing, but the older ones have a lot of experience. And on this kind of moment, I think it's very important to have this experience of big moments. And Halep, for me, is a very, very good player. But this is my opinion, and it's maybe not the opinion of Nick, but...
No, I mean, absolutely. When you look at the women's draw, Halep is the name that really jumps out at you. She won Madrid. She was a finalist in Rome. Obviously that ankle, as Gigi mentioned, is a little bit of a hesitancy for her, but she's really comfortable on these clay courts, Camille, and she made the final in 2013.
Yeah.
She really can play on the clay. We just have to see her win only 7 matches in a row. That's all it takes,
and
right?
Physically, she's prepared as well. I think it's very important to see a player fit, entering a Grand Slam, because it's long. Mentally, it's tough. So you need to be fit and to feel strong physically to be able to continue the game over and over until the final. And Halep, for me, is ready physically.
Yeah, I agree.
But it is quite weird for us as spectators, and I'm sure for you as a player, to see a Grand Slam. And I know the last year or so we've got used to it with Maria Sharapova, but not to have Serena Williams or Maria Sharapova in a Grand Slam draw is unusual. And we mentioned Victoria Azarenka, she's coming back in Mallorca a little bit later, but to be missing those names from a Grand Slam, it's strange.
It's strange, but I think it's just a new generation. Like they are like there's a lot of girls like 32, 33, 35 for Serena. It seems like it's normal that they are still here, but it's been a long time they are playing. Just because they love the game, they're still fit, so they keep going playing. But it's normal that there's a moment that this is going to change, and I think this Roland-Garros is the sign that maybe the generation is changing right now.
And can I ask you about Kristina Mladenovic? We talk about French players and we talk about nerves, especially when it comes to Roland-Garros. She's had a good season, really good on the hard court. She transferred it to the clay. Do you see her as a real contender?
I think Christina, for me, is a player. She loves the challenge, and she's always better when she plays somebody stronger than her or with a lot of crowd. You know, she loves those moments.
Yeah.
And it was difficult for her to play like matches with very little challenge, maybe because she was not that focused. When she played like stronger players, she's very focused. And now she showed to everybody that she can beat player lower ranked than her, like 2 sets, and being aggressive, focused, not only on with crowd, not only on the center court. And for me, this is the sign that she's going to be a very, very good competitor.
And I'm just going to warn you that we are going to be asking you who's going to win the women's title
Well, I
at
think
the
she
end of
tipped
the
us
I
on,
think,
right?
But I'm just going to give you a little bit more time because it's very open and people change.
Yeah,
so
like I can change during the.
You can. You've got a few more minutes if you want to change and come
Well,
back.
Christina is could be an outsider, very nice outsider.
Okay, so it's
go.
going to be interesting. But I'm going to get your picks at the end of the show. But I want to move things on to the men's draw. And when we talk about how open the women's draw is, Nick, it's kind of a different story on the men's side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all eyes fall on Rafael Nadal, on his chase for history and that 10th Roland-Garros. I mean, La Decima, it's really all we've been talking about. I think it was great that he lost in Rome. He was beaten by Dominic Thiem. You see him on the practice courts here at Roland-Garros, but he really has been the in-form player, has Rafa. And last year he was too. He came in here, he looked good, and then he had that surprise wrist injury. So it really is Rafa, but on his side of the draw, Novak Djokovic, the defending champion. So you look at that bottom half of the draw, it's a little more weighty. Not a lot of eyes up at Andy Murray, who's really struggled in a sense so far in the clay season so far.
Someone else who, Camille, is in that part of the draw is Dominic Thiem. Now, he played a little bit earlier against Bernard Tomic, and he came through very comfortably. But there was an incredible point during that match, and this just shows the confidence with which Thiem is playing at the moment. So confident that at the end of it, even Tomic had to smile. And he's normally quite serious, Thiem, when he's out on court. But the stretch and the reach and the athleticism from both of them, but this get from Thiem, he kept going. Tomic must have thought, Camille, I've won it, I've won it, I've won it.
Yeah,
And Thiem said no.
No way. Yeah, like Dominic Thiem is such a nice person, but he's not smiling a lot. He's from Austria, so it's
Very
not
true.
the culture, you know. But he's very, very nice, and I think the confidence that he has now beating Nadal on clay, he's amazing. He's a hard worker. He just trains a lot, and physically he's ready. And with his beautiful one-handed backhand, just amazing. He knows that he can beat Rafael Nadal on clay court with this backhand. It's amazing for me because the ball is bouncing very high and it's difficult with a one-hand backhand. Roger does it very, very nicely.
Right.
But on clay, when it bounces very high, it's difficult for Roger. And Thiem knows how to deal with this kind of spin. And I think he can be an outsider too.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on, look at that. The
It's
tweener.
incredible. It's incredible. I think it's just a shame he is in Nadal's half of the draw because we're all looking at Nadal. But someone, and I think this is great, we never talk about him. He's won multiple Grand Slam titles. He won a title coming into the French Open. We still don't really talk about Stan Wawrinka. And I think it's amazing that each year, each tournament, we don't talk about him. And he's racking up the titles.
Yeah, Stan is he's a normal guy, and so you don't consider him as a big star, and he is a big star. He won like Grand Slams. He's an amazing player, but we never think directly on his as a player to be winning. And I think he likes this position. For me, I don't know if it's done on purpose, but he likes being in the shadow, and I think he plays better this way.
And we have to mention the world number one. It's incredible that we're only just getting round to mentioning the world number one. Andy Murray, finalist here last year. He hasn't had a good 2017. He is leading the rankings. Where does he sit in this field?
Yeah, I think he sits in a confused state. He was saying it himself. You know, he's realistic about it, Andy Murray. You see him on the clay here, but this was a man who really focused on improving his clay game the last couple of years, and it just hasn't translated this year. He was a finalist here last year, of course, but Andy Murray comes in off of a disappointing, there's no way to shade it whatsoever, disappointing clay court season, and for him to come in, I think he's got to just feel like he needs to build confidence after the first couple rounds, because in the third round, looming, if they make it, Juan Martín del Potro.
You don't want him looming in any round, especially not in the third round. But when it comes to the Grand Slams, for the men, it's different because, say, Nadal Team can beat him over 3 sets. Could Team beat him over best of 5 sets? It's that extra hurdle. It's the extra level you have to go to beat these top players.
Yeah, it's quite different. That's true. But I believe now Team had the experience from last year. He really improved a lot last year. He won 6 titles. He reached semi-final after winning tournament in Nice. So he was tired after winning 5 matches in a row. He came here and he reached the semi-finals. So I think he proved to everybody that physically he can handle the thing. So now he has more confidence. He's growing a little bit. He's not that shy. He's a personality right now. And I think all these steps, he needed these steps now to go forward. Yeah.
Wow, semi-finals if he's tired. Can you imagine if he's not tired?
Yeah, I can imagine. That's why it's okay.
He's going to be really dangerous. So plenty more to come from us. And we've got results, we've got matches taking place as it happens. But we were very lucky that a little bit earlier today, the president of the French Tennis Federation, Bernard Guidicelli, came into our studio, sat down with Nick and had a chat.
Bernard Guidicelli, welcome to Live at Roland-Garros. We're so happy to have you, and it's here. The French Open Roland-Garros has begun. How are you feeling?
You know, I feel like everybody in his D-Day. It's a D-Day for us. It's a D-Day for me. I've been elected in February, 9 days ago. I'm very excited to lead as a French president of the French Tennis Federation this tournament.
Well, we talk about the first 100 days. You talk about the challenges. What has been the biggest challenge for you coming into this Roland-Garros?
You know, the biggest challenge for us is the security of the players, of the public. You know, we live in such difficult world today, and we have to put this stadium in total security. So it's not easy for the crowd, for the staff to pass over the different checkpoints. So that's the main problem that we have to face. And the second one is to offer for the players, for their teams, for all the fans, the best experience in the world. You know, here is a temple of the clay, the tennis on clay, and we have to put on this event the best that we can.
Well, if we look off into the distance, we can see that crane for the new stadium, which will even further improve Roland-Garros. Talk to me about the details around the new stadium and really a new Roland-Garros. We're seeing improvements inside Court Philippe Chatrier as well.
Yeah, you know, it's a 4 years project, and we just ended the first one, and the second one will be in 2018. Sorry, the new building of the organization, and the new court 14 on the west of the stadium. In 2019, the court in the Botanic Garden with the 4 greenhouses around it, and in 2020 the Chatrier Court, the new Chatrier Court with its roof. And you know, already we are, as we are talking today in Italy, in Cemolai factory, the first wing have been done.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we are waiting 10 wings more to put the roof on the court in 2020.
Well, we needed that roof last year, but we'll be happy to have it in 2020, right?
Yes.
Now, so many great storylines. Petra Kvitova making her comeback. Rafael Nadal is chasing number 10, La Decima. Novak Djokovic joining forces with Andre Agassi. What are you most excited about for Roland-Garros?
You know, so many challenges.
Yeah.
I don't know where to look at.
Yeah.
Sometimes are challenges, sometimes they are dream for the players. You know, we have the French one, which is my main dream, but it is in my heart. Then I have the challenge of Rafa, which is incredible. 10 times a chance to win is just
wow.
incredible. And then the comeback of Novak with the help of Andre Agassi, which is a kind of you wake up, Agassi is on the Chatrier Court. What he was doing there? And also in the sign of the woman Joe, we have some you know, Simona Halep. Nobody knows very well Simona Halep, but she's a very good person, and we can have a real champion, because Simona, and nobody knows, but Simona Halep has been helped when she was young by the ITF, the program of the Grand Slam Fund, to help Romanian young players, and to see Simona Halep here as the favorite of the tournament for a member of the ITF that I am, it's important.
Well, and you're going to have the best seat in the house right there on Philippe Chatrier. I want to know now, this might be a tough call for you to make, your men's winner and your women's winner.
I will never say that.
Very diplomatic.
Never. You know,
right.
my commitment
Yes.
is to put on the best condition to get the best winner.
All right, we'll let the best player win on both sides then, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much to you.
right.
My pleasure.
Nick, now it's one thing me asking you for your picks for the tournament. It's another thing you asking the president of the FFT if he could choose his favourites.
You know, I was just going out on a limb there, but obviously he didn't take the bait. He's a smart man, and you know what? He's being fair, right? May the best player win.
Well, can you imagine if you say, well, I think this and this, we'd be like, okay then. Now, Eli, we brought you back in. Thank you very much. You're all looking very comfortable and stuff.
Pleasure to be back.
There's a little bit of work for the three of you to do now. We're starting with the order of play tomorrow. Going to let people know what's happening. If we begin on Philippe Chatrier court, there's a cracking match. There are only, three former women's champions in the draw. And, Nick, two of them play each other tomorrow first on.
Yeah, absolutely amazing to see Garbine Muguruza taking on Francesca Schiavone. That will be an incredible match. They've played twice, and they've split those two matches both on clay.
Novak Djokovic is second on court. Then Kristina Mladenovic. Is it the dark horse or is it the winner for Camille? And then we've got Sasha Zverev against Fernando Verdasco. If we move on to Susan Longland to see your fair over there tomorrow, we've got Rafa Nadal is the second match on. Caroline Wozniacki kicks things off. Karolina Pliskova, who says there's no way she's favourite or one of the favourites for this tournament. And Richard Gasquet wraps things up. So my question to you, I'll start with you, Camille. What would be your pick of the day, your match of tomorrow?
I would say Christina, because I want her to play this first match and go for a first win so that the pressure is off.
Okay, nice.
But I would go for Zverev Verdasco because this is for me the big match of the day.
Yeah.
Because Verdasco, he always play. He used to be top 10, and he always had like a seeded player or player that are playing very good at this time first round.
Yeah.
And Verdasco is always involved in great matches on first round. So thanks Fernando to have bad draws because, because every time he plays Nadal, gracias, muchas gracias. And Sasha Zverev, we know he beat Djokovic, so he won his first big major title. So it's going to be a huge battle.
Interesting. Staying at the same hotel as the Zverevs. And last night, Misha arrives from Geneva, having reached the final. And they all sat around having a nice sushi dinner with the little dog, and everything looked quite relaxed. And I think that's important. So he's very relaxed ahead of facing.
He traveled with the dog. I saw him last year in Nice, and he was with her
Was the
mom
dog eating sushi
now-
also?
Probably.
I'm just going to interrupt dog chat to tell you that Venus Williams has won. There's the little pirouette, Nick, that we're used to saying with Venus Williams. Her sister might be on maternity leave, but her big sis still going.
Well, we saw so many of those pirouettes in Australia, and for her to be Wang Chang, that's a tough first round, the Chinese player. Venus through, she's never a favorite on clay, but really great to see her playing. And hey, the women's draw is wide open. Why not?
Yeah, it's wonderful to see Camille, Venus Williams, still doing what she loves doing it and doing it so well.
Yeah, she's 36, and we don't really think about Venus winning this tournament, but she has the experience.
Yeah.
And physically, it seems like she's good. And she's just a bit in the shadow, even if she's a star legend. But we are thinking about Halep, all the younger ones, but she's still there. And I think she can make something good this year.
Okay, so very quickly, names to win. Men's name.
Rafael Nadal,
Women's name.
Kristina Mladenovic.
Men's name.
We would go for Nadal and
It's a tough
Halep.
one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mladenovic.
And
You're
Halep.
going Halep. Okay, interesting. Nick,
I'm going out on a limb, Rafael Nadal and Simona Halep.
dark horse.
My dark horse is Juan Martín del Potro.
You can have the same one.
Yeah, I would say team.
You can't have team as a dark horse.
No?
Maybe to win the title.
I don't understand.
He's a top-
outsider.
I saw like outsider.
He's a top 10 player.
Yeah, but for yeah, Kachanov definitely like it's my no, but for me, team so far he's playing very good.
Yeah.
But to go and win a Grand Slam, you can be top 10 and be an outsider for me.
We're gonna have to think. We're gonna have to think
Let the
about.
debate
We're gonna have to
begin.
think
I like
about
it.
that one.
Dark horse, Sasnovich,
Sasnovich.
Belarus.
Okay. Everybody, thank you very much. It's so nice to have your company for our first show. Join us again. We will be back same time tomorrow. And use the hashtag #LiveAtRG if you'd like to get in touch with us, make a comment, or maybe you have a dark horse that isn't inside the world's top 10 that you would like to tell us about. So get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. But we're going to leave you this evening with the King of Clay, because tomorrow Rafa Nadal starts his quest for Roland Garros French Open title number 10. Bye for now.